Let that be the spark that ignites us to say around this country, we're not going to tolerate violence and the murder of our children anymore. We're not going to tolerate it.
I've been stereotyped. I've been called a threat just because of the attire that I wear. And so I do feel like this is an issue that I had to stand firm on.
And tonight we're continuing to cover the Trayvon Martin case. All across the country, peaceful rallies are taking place in support of this young man. He was shot. The man who shot him remains free, but in hiding. Many are asking, who is George Zimmerman? Here now is the 911 call just before this tragedy happened.
Hey, we've had some break-ins in my neighborhood, and there's a real suspicious guy. This guy looks like he's up to no good, or he's on drugs or something. It's raining, and he's just walking around looking about. Now he's coming towards me.
Okay.
He's got his hand in his waistband. Something's wrong with him. Yeah. He's coming to check me out. He's got something in his hands. I don't know what his deal is. They always get away. He's running.
Are you following him?
Yeah.
Okay, we don't need you to do that.
Okay.
Boy, a lot of this revolved around that fateful call. If you'd only done what the police asked him to do, and that call, according to RadarOnline.com, had been sent to FBI headquarters in Washington, D.C., to determine if Zimmerman actually used a racial slur in that call. The FBI's Tampa office tells CNN, quote, "We cannot comment on specific investigative details at this time," unquote. A new CNN poll says 3/4 of Americans surveyed believe that Zimmerman should be arrested. Back with me to continue this conversation, Judge Karen, also CNN analyst Roland Martin, and executive editor at Politic365.com, Jeff Johnson. Now, Karen, you said your niece and nephew know Trayvon, went to his high school. Can you tell us what they say about, first of all, what kind of kid he was, and how the kids at that school are being affected by all this?
Well, it's one of my nephews who knew him for the last couple of years. He said they hung out, that he was always a cool guy. He never knew of any problems. He just he didn't have anything negative or otherwise to say about him, except that he was just a kid in school. No troublemaker that he knew, and I actually asked him specifically about that. But the kids at the school have been very traumatized by this event. They had a rally on Friday. They had another demonstration today because it's been very upsetting. Of course, now the press is hanging outside the school, I guess, trying to interview some of the students. I've heard at least 3 different reasons why this child was on a 10-day suspension. Today was the first time I heard about some residue of marijuana found in his book bag. That's the last thing I heard.
It's reefer madness, I tell you, Karen. Jeff, I want to go to you. To me, as an addictionologist, the fact that cannabis comes into this conversation, I find bizarre. But Jeff, I want to go to you and ask. Reverend Jesse Jackson was on this program on Friday, and he was advocating to reinitiate another civil rights initiative of some type. What do you think needs to be done about this?
Well, I mean, I think Roland mentioned it in the last segment. There's a multi-level way that this needs to be attacked, and first and foremost is attacking those laws in the states that have passed them. But there's a bigger issue here, because the question that African Americans in particular are asking now is this going to be a moment, a movement, or a lifestyle? And there are people in local communities all over the country that have been charged up by this, but there are young men dying every day in communities, and nobody's saying a mumbling word. And so the question is, can those folks begin to mobilize where they are, not just talking, not just having rallies, not just having marches, but addressing those issues and challenging folks? That's the real question, and I think that's what people are beginning to ask right now. Is this just going to be another Troy Davis, where people are mobilizing, they've got their Troy Davis T-shirts on, Troy Davis is put to death, and then there are people that are still on death row that are presumably innocent that nobody's talking about? That's the real question.
Drew, there's a very simple phrase that I've been using for the last several years, and that is, will this be a moment or lead to a movement? and that is the moment means once it's over, then folks just simply go back to business as usual. The reason we remember Emmett Till, because that wasn't a moment. That was 1955. That sparked the Civil Rights Movement. 54 was the Brown versus Board of Education. 55 was Emmett Till. Montgomery was 56. Then, of course, you had Voting Rights Act and Civil Rights Act. You had all of that take place, kick-started by Emmett Till. So the question will be, and not just African Americans, will Americans care about social justice and begin to say equality under the law?
Yeah.
That's the real key.
Okay, and I'm glad to hear that. And again, I think this is about bringing people together, not rupturing and creating any ruptures. Trayvon's parents were actually alongside of Al Sharpton and spoke to the media today about how their son is being portrayed in the media and their concerns about that. Take a look.
Even in death, they are still disrespecting my son. And I feel that that's a shame. They will try to make your son a junkie, a thief, a assaulter, and everything else before this is over.
They've killed my son, and now they're trying to kill his reputation.
Aaron, you mentioned blaming the victim. Is that what's going on here? We're making the victim's reputation, putting his reputation on trial rather than staying focused on the issues. Karen.
Once you're in the face of the media, everybody else is going to start looking into your background. It's fair. Once we heard this boy was suspended from school, it's fair to say, why was he suspended? And even if it was for the marijuana, the question was, they had his body for 3 days. They did an autopsy on him. Did they find marijuana in his system? That would be the only reason why the reason behind his suspension is relevant.
Even I, Karen, well, even I, as an ichologist, I would have to take it. Marijuana does not make people more violent. If anything, it goes the other way, and I don't think it has anything to bear as an expert. But let me interrupt you.
And Dr. Drew.
Dr. Drew, I don't agree with that, though.
They did not. Here's the problem. They did not test George Zimmerman. He wasn't drug tested or alcohol tested.
Yes, I agree. That could be an issue.
Don't you think you would run a test on the shooter?
He's a right drug.
Yeah, I would think so. You guys, I got to take a break. Thank you all, gentlemen. Thank you, Karen. I'll be right back.